Time to talk about a musical with America's first Treasury Secretary. You know, in concept that does sound a little weird. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Nathan and today we're talking about my favorite musical of all time, Hamilton.
Alexander Hamilton.
But before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. We got uploads coming out every Monday. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. If somehow you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a little background info on this revolutionary piece of art. Hamilton is a hip-hop musical following the life of our first Treasury Secretary, Alexander Hamilton. The creator of Hamilton, Lin-Manuel Miranda, actually stumbled upon this bizarre idea while reading the biography of Hamilton by Ron Chernow. Following up on his idea, he began crafting not only a musical, but a pop culture milestone, as since its release in January 20th, 2015, it's had some pretty elite company in its audience. For instance, Jennifer Lopez, Oprah, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Kanye West, Tom Hanks, Queen Latifah, and the former President of the United States, Barack Obama! Now that you have a little background, let's get right into the revolutionary world of Hamilton. Get it? Revolution. We start out our journey with these characters in the song appropriately named Alexander Hamilton, where all the major people in his life all sing about his story, all knowing what will eventually happen to him. Except Hamilton, of course. I love how it quickly sets up Alexander's reasons for his insane work ethic, and gives us a little background on his story in a very entertaining way. Moving along, we learn of Hamilton's aspirations to rise above his current situation and become successful. A great message to everyone, that no matter where you come from, you can always rise above it and become more. He seeks counsel with Aaron Burr, the main narrator of the story, and by far my favorite character. In the reading, it sets up one of the main themes of the story, that Hamilton acts on every opportunity, and Burr waits to see if it's a good move. When the two find themselves at a bar, we're introduced to three more characters: John Lawrence, Hercules Mulligan, and Marquita Lafayette. They all then talk about the revolution, then go on to join it, cause why the heck not? We then change scene to two of the most kick-butt characters ever, Angelica and Eliza. And then there's Peggy. I didn't really care much for her character. It's probably because she didn't get a lot of stage time though. Don't get me wrong though, Jasmine Cephas-Jones is amazing. Sorry if I totally butchered that pronunciation. I'm glad she also played Maria Reynolds, who I enjoyed a lot more than Peggy. Her performance in Say No to This was absolutely amazing, as she blew me away with her vocal range. Anyways, back to Angelica and Eliza. They both carry this amazing confidence and flair to them, as they're written a lot more progressive than most women were back in the late 1700s. Not to mention how much I freaking love Helpless and Satisfied. The way Lynn is able to tell the same story from two different perspectives is absolutely phenomenal. It really furthers the fact of how much the two sisters love each other, as Angelica gives up Hamilton for not only Eliza, but the family name as well. Since Alexander wasn't very wealthy, and Angelica was the eldest of her family, which meant she was gonna have to marry rich. It was yet another obstacle for what would have been such a bomb couple! Hashtag Hamgelica. But I love Eliza too, so I'm fine. Eliza and Hamilton then go on to get married, and afterwards the boy Burr pulls up and then sings my favorite song of the whole musical. I am the one thing in life I can control. Oh my gosh, this song blows me away every time I hear it. I've held back on talking about Leslie Odom Jr., but no longer! His voice is absolutely stunning, and his performance is amazing. His acting is definitely the best, and is so captivating on every line. And this streak definitely doesn't stop when you hit wait for it. The gravitas of this song is just absolutely amazing. How it weaves the story of every time Burr saw someone die, it was because they didn't wait for it and see if it was the best option. That all his life he's lived by this principle, but now this orphan immigrant's coming along and rising quicker than he ever did. This song illustrates Burr's mind so incredibly, and that's why it's my favorite song of the whole musical. Moving right along, we're smack dab in the middle of the Revolutionary War, and the Americans are failing hard. This general named Charles Lee talks a lot of crap about Washington, so John Lawrence challenges him to a duel, and pew! Washington blames Hamilton, then sends him home, where he finds out that Eliza is pregnant. However, we then arrive at a point in the war where the Americans could actually win this thing, and it brings about one of my favorite songs to sing to. I'm taking this toast by the rains, making break codes, ready with bloodstains.
Lafayette!
And I'm never gonna stop till make them drop and burn them up and scatter the remains.
Lafayette!
Guns and Ships is so good, as we finally get to see Daveed Diggs' amazing rapping skills.
And mine.
The complex and tricky lyrics, alongside the great backup singing of the ensemble, make for a fast and fun song about why Hamilton needs to come back to lead. Once he does, they finally win the war, and we're treated to a bit more of Jonathan Groff as the king. Every time he shows up on stage, it's some of the funniest stuff in the whole show. The way he walks and talks is just executed so well by Groff, as he's one of the most passive-aggressive characters I've ever seen. After the king, we get Dear Theodosia, one of the most underrated songs in the whole production. We get a glimpse into how great of fathers Burr and Hamilton really are as they gush over their kids. The acting by both Lynn and Leslie in this song is absolutely amazing, as you can see the real emotion on their faces and in their voices. However, next we have another of one of my favorite songs, Non-Stop. The visuals are amazing with how fluid the ensemble is using all the props and dancing around the main characters. The acting is great, especially by the boy, Leslie Odom Jr. You can tell exactly what every character's facial expression means and the emotion on it, because every single thing in this musical has a meaning behind it. Like, for real, that's when you know you have a great musical, when everything anyone says always has a meaning. And there's no filler lines at all. And the singing, oh my goodness. I could listen to Leslie Odom Jr.'s voice all day. But right now I'm gonna focus on Philippa Sue and Renee Elise Goldsberry. Their voices are so stupid good. The range they can get to effectively is amazing. I mean, just listen to this.
People never be satisfied, satisfied,
History
Amazing song about how fast Hamilton is rising and how he is non-stop working. See what I did there?
Did you see it though?
And as if we can't get enough great songs, boom! What did I miss? An absolute banger. You thought Daveed Diggs was great as Lafayette? You better see this man do Jefferson! Just all of his movements and facial expressions are amazing. The way Daveed switches from Lafayette to this goofy and arrogant character is excellent, as it really shows how versatile he is in his acting. Not to mention how well he acts alongside James Madison, aka Hercules Mulligan, aka I'm not even gonna try and pronounce this actor's name, I'll put it right here. Keeping the train moving along, we see Hamilton needs to get more votes to get his financial plan to pass. And if he doesn't, he gonna get canned. He works himself to the bone as he declines going to the Schuyler's summer home. Which, couldn't he have just worked on it at the summer home? Anyways, he gets left home alone, where he meets Maria Reynolds, who seduces him to sleep with her. And let me just speak for everyone when I say, ugh! Anyways, Say No to This is done so well. As I said, I already love Jasmine Cephas-Jones' performance as Maria Reynolds. Her voice sounds so amazing as she hits the high notes very well, and her acting is great as towards the end you can see how desperate she is. After Hamilton pays off James Reynolds to keep the affair quiet, we go to the room where it happens. Literally. An amazing song about how Alexander plays the game, that is politics. How he gave up something he didn't even care about to get even more ahead in his career. And while Burr figures this out, it's brilliant. Hamilton then proceeds to mock Burr.
You get nothing if you wait for it, wait for it, wait.
As he asks what he wants, as he's gotten absolutely nowhere. We start to see Burr change his mentality, as he wants to be in the room where it happens so badly. Next we see how fed up Jefferson, Madison, and Burr all become with Alexander. Because everyone just hates Hamilton. Because of this, Thomas Jefferson resigns from the cabinet in order to run for the presidency to get Alexander out of power. Then we get the absolutely masterful One Last Time. Christopher Jackson, who I definitely haven't talked about enough for how good of an actor he is. His ability to convey such deep emotion with his voice is spectacular, not to mention his facial expressions. His amazing performance of the song is definitely a highlight of the musical, and it encapsulates Washington's thought process in stepping down so well. That is a noble thing that at the time not many people really got, but later on, the whole country thanked him for it. And now with Washington out of office, John Adams assumes the presidency, with Thomas Jefferson as his VP. Hamilton gets fired by Adams, so Hamilton just absolutely flames him.
Sit down, John, you fat mother!
Afraid of what he might do, Jefferson, Madison, and Burr go to talk to him. Hamilton reveals his affair to clear his name with them, that he didn't embezzle, cause he's an idiot. Like, come on, dude, you just told your 3 biggest political enemies the worst thing you've ever done, to clear your name for something no one is even accusing you of. So after this meeting, Hamilton becomes scared with his reputation and legacy. He sings about it in the fabulous song Hurricane. It delves deeper into Hamilton's head and talks about how Hamilton got everything he has by writing. Hamilton doesn't hesitate to try and write his way out of the situation with the Reynolds pamphlet. It horribly backfires on him. Obviously. Angelica turns on him and Eliza absolutely hates him. Hamilton permanently stains his life just because he was paranoid for his career.
Bruh.
The acting is amazing throughout this part, as you can really feel the hurt and pain of everyone involved, and you experience that with them as the audience. We then fast forward a bit where Philip is all grown up and is preparing to duel a man who trashed Alexander. In Jersey, because evidently.
Everything is legal in New Jersey.
Philip is killed, as he shot his gun in the air, but the other man didn't share the same sense of honor. We then get the reprise of Stay Alive, where Philip dies in the arms of Alexander and Eliza. Both parents fall into a deep state of depression. This is expressed in the absolute masterpiece, It's Quiet Uptown. The way this song brings such sadness to me, even after I've heard it so many times, really speaks to its emotional impact. This is Lynn's best performance throughout the whole show, as his amazing acting showcases the pain in his face and the way he moves. Not to mention, when he sings, he uses his voice very well, from his voice cracks to his sobs to the straight up anguish. After this fabulous emotional song, we move to the election of 1800, where Hamilton chooses Jefferson instead of Burr. Plot twist! Due to this, Jefferson wins the election and Burr challenges Hamilton to a duel. Hamilton accepts, and then we move on to the amazing concluding songs of Hamilton, The World Was Wide Enough, and Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story. In order to do both of these songs justice, I'll talk about them as one whole. The tale of lessons learned and legacy all comes to a head as Burr fires his gun towards Hamilton. Alexander knows his time is almost done as he reflects on his legacy and wondering how this will affect it. Alexander tells Eliza to take her time as he is shot through the ribs. Burr then excellently sings about how that 10 seconds defines his whole legacy. How much pain and regret Leslie Odom Jr. is able to convey through his singing is outstanding. Then moving on to Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story. We hear about all that Eliza has done to protect and further Hamilton's legacy. Philippa Sue's performance is absolutely awe-inspiring, as it brings an excellent conclusion to an excellent musical. Hamilton is one of the most revolutionary, forward-thinking, and captivating musicals I've ever seen. And to me, that's why it's the best Broadway musical of all time. And you best believe it, I'm always watching it on Disney+. What do you think of Hamilton? What's your favorite Broadway musical? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you're notified when our newest video comes out. Thanks again for watching. I'm Nathan, and I'll see you next time.